Good day, America! Red Ho coming back at you again, and now it's the month of March. Woo! So, now with the month of March, and people who may not know, it's also St. Patrick's Day on the 17th, and I got something to show you. Check this out right here. Huh? Oh yeah, we're going real ethnic right now, huh? No. East Jedi! I'm just fucking with you. So, once we get done with the whole St. Patrick's Day, unlike the whole St. Valentine's Day, I'm just letting you know, St. Patrick was actually a saint. He was the very first person to bring Christianity to Ireland. So, that is a legitimate thing. The reason why we party about it, so on and so forth. So, all of you, non-Christians, I apologize in advance, but I am a Christian myself. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic of subject, because, I want to. Fuck it. Alright, so, now I also want to say happy birthday to both my wife and my daughter. Woo! The worst part about having a child and your wife that have birthdays 2 days apart is the gifts. The gifts is just, you gotta have a gift. But you know what? I wouldn't trade it. Honestly, I wouldn't trade it. It's freaking awesome to be able to do wonderful things for the both of them. As a matter of fact, my wife knows about this, so I can actually say it on this podcast. But here in the local area, they have what is called a mom prom. Now, that is for older women who have kids, obviously have kids, and it's adults, so, alcohol is involved, the girls can go out and have a good time. So I've actually made arrangements for my wife and 3 of her friends to go to this mom prom. Now, I'm also more of a stickler of trying to be cautious as far as, the drinking and driving and that kind of stuff goes. So I also offered to be a chauffeur. So I'm going to get one of my cars all nice and dolled up, one big enough for everybody to fit in. I'll even put on one of those crazy ass hats and be like, y'all get in the truck, we going up to the big house. Either that or be like, it's okay, I'm your Uber driver. But either way, so then of course I'm going to pick them all up at their individual places, which is going to be a lot of driving. We're going to be running around, taking pictures in certain spots here and there around town, just enjoying the hell out of the entire day. And then I want to drop them off at the whole mom prom thing, let them do their thing, and they're partying, and they're, ghetto fabulous style, or whatever they do, it doesn't matter. And then, of course, they'll give me a call after it's done, and probably go to a bar afterwards. We don't know. But no matter what it is, I want my wife to be as happy as she possibly can, looking for prom dresses and that kind of stuff, kind of on the cheap considering. Not too much of a challenge yet, but could be in the future days because it is coming up relatively soon. But she's going to have fun, and that is the whole point. Now, as for my daughter, I'm not going to say what her gift is because just don't. I don't know yet. But we'll come up with something. But I wouldn't worry about it too much because, honestly, whatever it is that I come up with for her, she will absolutely love it because I'm that kind of guy. I'm the dad of the century. No, I'm just fucking with you. Alright. So, the reason why I came up with the idea of mom prom, because it came up, is not only is it close to her birthday. It's within a week of her birthday, but she is also graduating from college, so she gets to have some sort of a fun, adventurous time while she's doing this whole going to school thing. She gotta make it fun, gotta make it entertaining, worthwhile, right? But also, in case you didn't know about my crazy wife, my crazy German wife, she's from Germany. Duh. And so, with that being said, they don't do prom at school. You graduate from school, That's it. You're done. There's no camaraderie, super parties, and commemorating your last years in high school and that kind of stuff. So they didn't do that kind of stuff. And my wife, when we saw the sign that said, mom prom, she was like, I've never had a prom. That would be so cool to go to. So here I go. I start making arrangements. I'm like, all right, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen because I'm the husband of the century. So, enough of that topic. I love you both very much. Happy, wonderful birthday, and I hope like hell you enjoy the shit out of it. All right. So, in case you haven't noticed or haven't wondered, the last 2 episodes that I have posted, which is the last 2 months in January and February, they were kind of sexually explicit, kind of risque, gave you a disclaimer the first time, not really the second time, but obviously I sent it out to all the people that I know, including some people that I work with. They all watched it, they laughed their heads off, and then I get a phone call to talk to my boss. And my boss suggested, he did not force me, he suggested, for my safety, it might be a good idea to take him down. So that's what I did, just because I don't get paid to do this shit, but I get paid to do that, and I really didn't want to take any risks of getting fired for that dumb stuff, for stupid stuff that I say on social media. But here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to talk to the HR rep, and I'm going to clarify what would be considered to be too obscene or whatever the case is, to make sure that if what I put on there is too explicit and I could get fired, or if I could post it up again. So she says the types of stuff that you say on there doesn't matter, as long as you're not calling anybody out specific when you're talking about these explicit things, then go ahead and do it. If that's the case, then I'll definitely put the first one up because, I didn't talk about anybody specific there. The second one, that one is a little bit more cautious because not only did I not say a whole lot sexually explicit, but I mentioned myself, so I don't know if that makes much of a difference. But we'll discuss that with her, and we'll see how things go. But speaking of this crazy explicit type of stuff, I'm going to try to keep this as PC as possible, all things considered. But we had just recently gotten 4 inches of rain. Now, 4 inches of rain in a short period of time. Welcome to Missouri. Welcome to Missouri. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. You may get something different. You never know. So, but with the 4 inches of rain, everything is soaking wet. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get in trouble. But everything was soaking wet. A lot of basements got flooded. It was raining hard for quite some time. So, with that being said, then of course, there was a lot of cleanup and what have you afterwards as well. But this just kind of reminds me yet again of Carl from Sling Blade doing the whole Mother Nature thing again. Now, if you don't realize, Carl's not a very good Mother Nature person when it comes to Missouri. I'm just saying, because he'd be like, man, it looks like we got ourselves a drought here. How about I just give us a bunch of rain so the drought will stop? Back when I was a kid, I used to think that God was pissing on us every time it rained. I'm not going to lie. I was a dumb kid. What do you expect? Really? Some people might say, oh, it's God crying. Well, if you think about it, there was a great flood. And he swore he'd never do that again, so I feel kind of safe. But there again, that was 40 days of nonstop rain. 4 inches in a matter of hours might be a little bit different story. Because then it's just gloomy and crazy and nuts. But I digress. I'm going to leave that alone from now on. But that is really all that I have for now. If I can come up with something stupid, stories that I keep forgetting. I mean, my brain's as long as, I'm not going to say it, fill in the blank. But, if I can remember some of these things and actually get a chance to write the crap down, then maybe I'll have a little special joke-related story type of stuff, and we can move on from there. But until then, enjoy this, please. If you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, and share. Share this with your friends because I'm trying to be funny as hell and you got to say ha ha ha. No? Okay? Like I said, from the very beginning, you can laugh with me. You can laugh at me. I don't care. The shit's funny. That's why I make fun of myself. That's why none of this stuff really bothers me. So, until next time, good day, America.